One pretty interesting storyline in the 2016 Democratic nomination fight has been the celebrities who have lined up not behind Hillary Clinton, but behind Bernie Sanders. He's drawn support from Susan Sarandon, Sarah Silverman, Danny DeVito, and a bunch more. So when John and I were out in L.A. this week, we caught up with one of his Hollywood supporters, a guy who lives on Bernie Boulevard. He's the actor Kendrick Sampson, best known for his role as Caleb Habstow on ABC's How to Get Away with Murder. Sampson has joined Sanders all over the country in places like Syracuse, Baltimore, and on a 12-city tour along the U.S.-Mexico border and into California. We talked with Sampson about why he likes Sanders, his thoughts on Hillary Clinton, and his decision to jump into politics. Kendrick Sampson, thanks for joining us. So this is the first time you've done politics.
Yes.
What caused you to get up off your couch and get involved with this particular presidential campaign?
Well, you know, I don't spend much time on my couch. But
I meant metaphorically.
I get it. No, I honestly don't even still feel like I'm involved in politics. I got into it because I saw he was an activist. And I still, to be honest, politics drain me. You know, but there's an overarching feel of activism within his movement, and politics just seem to play a part in it. So it's a little bit easier for me to get involved because I'm standing up for the disenfranchised and the marginalized people in this country through this movement and championing things that I was already involved in, like Black Lives Matter.
Why do you think Senator Sanders had such a hard time for such a long time? He's done better with African Americans of late, but for a long time he had a really hard time connecting with African American voters. Why was that? Why do you think he wasn't able to make the sale in a competitive way with Hillary Clinton?
I think, you know, to be honest, I think it's kind of bizarre that because I don't know any African Americans that support her. I don't know personally. I don't, even in Houston, where I'm from. But speculation, I would say, would be, you know, she's had decades of, you know, campaigning. She campaigned with her husband. She went down there. She shook hands. She did a lot of PR. And she's like Crest. She's like Kleenex. She's a brand name. You go to that first, even though it may not be the best thing for you. It may have a bunch of like chemicals or something that you shouldn't be putting in your mouth. But you're like, I know Crest. And a lot of these people, especially in the southern states, are not on the computer 24/7. They're not on social media. These are older people, especially, you know, old black women who are voting for her or who have voted for her. And even now, you know, some of them tell me that they, you know, if they would have known who he was, they would have voted for him. But they just didn't have that brand name. And he has so much area to cover, you know, that she's covered already for decades, you know, for a couple decades now. And I think that's the main reason, is that he just hasn't gotten out there and been able to talk to these people and look them in the eye.
Right, so you just described her as a tube of toothpaste that has a bunch of chemicals that you shouldn't put in your mouth. So my question about Hillary Clinton is for you as a Democrat, right? Do you think of her as a less good choice than Bernie Sanders? Obviously you prefer him, but she's fine. She'll be great. You'll be happy to support her as the Democratic nominee? Or do you think Hillary Clinton is part of a corrupt system, part of the oligarchy, part of the what's wrong with American politics today?
I do think she participates in what's wrong with American politics today. I always, you know, when people ask me this question, I can't ever bring myself to vote for someone who I believe would hurt the people that I love, or who has a history of doing that.
And so you think that she falls into that category? You think Hillary Clinton would be actively detrimental to the people that you love?
From what I've seen, yeah.
Because of what? What's the history that leads you to that conclusion?
Well, you know, black and brown people are the first to go to war. You know, they're the most likely to join the military. They're the most likely to be targeted by the war on drugs, crime bill. You know, I just haven't seen, to be honest, it's more so about Bernie and the work he's done with civil rights. I didn't think, I was like, he's this white politician who I really don't think has any draw toward anybody who looks like me. And then I was slapped in the face by all his work with the civil rights of, you know, being the chairman on the Congress of Racial Equality while he was in college and marching with MLK. And, you know, from what I've read, in high school, he ran on a platform of raising scholarships for Korean war orphans. Or it was just like, what draws you to stand up for these marginalized and disenfranchised people and reach outside of your community? that's so impressive to me that he actually cares about these people. He cares about people that look like me. He's done more for black people than any black person I know personally. You know, he's done more for Latinos than any Latino person that I know personally. And what draws you to do that for decades? What draws you to do it before it's popular? What draws you to stand up for gay people in, you know, 71 and 74 and run on a platform of including gay rights into the Civil Rights Bill when gay rights was not a thing? You know, that shows me foresight and shows me that he really cares and that he loves for these people.
Our great thanks to Kendrick Sampson. You can watch him on ABC's How to Get Away with Murder. Coming up, the 2016 presidential race and what it means for your weekend after this.